I think I'm like figuring out a way to like back off, and then it's like almost feel like obligated that I have to do this if it's what it turns out to be, which would just be like.
So you should need to bring Leo to this young horse trainers clinic so that Jim can see him. And
it's a good idea.
Yeah. And then Laura needs to come with something, and we'll see if we can get Bree to come with something. My thought was if I could make it cheap enough that they have no financial reason for not doing it, they might, out of interest to learn, come and do it.
Yeah. And you're right, Jim's just very easy to work with. It's like when he walked up and he took the, pogo a lot of times. Like I purposely didn't warm up, so that could be part of the evaluation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because there was one time I wanted to go out and just do my 30-second warm up on him so he could see it.
Right.
And then critique that because he would know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? He may not do it and may never seen it before, but he would know where that's going.
Yeah.
And I've had people walk and go, "That's just haunches in right there." And I said, "Yes, that's where it begins." I said, you can do all this without the containment, and you can create some throughness. Anyway, here I go again. But my point is, it's like, I said, "Hey, he was fixing the lateral pole on the corners of the bit manually, but the feet are still." Right. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And then I figured out what he was doing because, just look. And I said, "Okay, I'll do that with the feet moving." It's, you pick it up as far as it goes until they roll off your leg and the jaw rolls under the neck and they,
right.
And they propel forward.
Right.
And then you do the other side. And it may take a few seconds of just the timing, right? For the inside high, keep lifting the rein. And then when they get off of it and they roll the axis, your leg comes off and they go forward. And so but see, all that stuff, and that's why I really appreciate it, is because that's the first thing he did. He says, these horses have to be supple laterally.
Right. Oh yeah. I know Jim is very good and he knows the basics and he knows it all the way through, but he's very, very good with the basics. Are we live?
We are.
Oh, wow. So we're gossiping to the world. So you want me to talk to people? Hi, everybody. We're here doing our live on Facebook. And are we on YouTube as well, Dee Dee? And on YouTube. So I hope we get some questions. Please send in questions in the comments. I don't know about the YouTube people. We're not sure we can get the questions on YouTube. But on the Facebook people, we should see the comments as you type them in. So if you have questions about nutrition or training, I have with me Philip Hatfield from North Mountain Training Center, who can answer questions on training and handling and behavioral. I answer questions on nutrition and general life and horse management. So please send us your questions on the comments. We'd look forward to seeing them. And we're going to talk about horses and horse nutrition and horse care. So anything you want to tell the world, Philip?
Maybe we should switch that one time and see how that works out.
What, you talk about nutrition and I talk about training?
I think they would see right through me right off the bat.
They'd see right through me
you
too.
Would sound pretty educated. But,
I would sound good for a little while and then they would say, wait a minute. So one thing I was going to talk about, I have a channel, as some of you already know, on TikTok. And on TikTok, we put up a video about the nutritional value of black oil sunflower seeds, which are a high-fat feed that some people use for horses. And I got a lot of pushback because sunflower seeds are high in omega-6 fatty acids. And omega-6 fatty acids are pro-inflammatory. There's no question of that. Everyone said, well, you should be telling people to feed flax because flax is high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are not pro-inflammatory. Here's the situation as it is. First of all, we're talking about feeding 4 to 6 ounces per day out of a total feed intake of 20 pounds. This is not a significant amount of food. It's not enough to cause the horse to go into inflammation. It's not enough to set up inflammatory processes in the horse. But it is correct that omega-6 fatty acids are pro-inflammatory and omega-3s are not. There's also the factor from a piece of research that Dr. Joe Pagan at Kentucky Equine Research presented at AAEP this year, last year in 25, that when they measured the pro-inflammatory cytokines in the bloodstream of horses, they fed them sunflower seed, they fed them flaxseed, they fed them fish oil, and they let them graze green grass. The only feeds that significantly changed the fatty acid profile in these horses was green grass and fish oil. The flaxseed, though it contains omega-3 fatty acids, does not change the fatty acid profile. So it really doesn't matter whether you feed sunflower oil or flax oil, you're not going to change the fatty acid profile of the horse anyway. If you want to increase the omega-3 fatty acids in the fatty acid profile, it's going to have to be with green grass or fish oil. So for those of you who are worrying about the horses being fed sunflower seed and getting inflammation, it probably isn't going to happen. And if it does, the answer is give them some green grass. So that was just my little observation for people for tonight. Any of you have questions, please send them into the comments. We look forward to seeing them. Can we read the comments, Didi? Can we see anything coming in?
There's no one on.
No one's on. I'm talking to myself. Well, Philip and Didi anyway.
It'll post.
Yeah, hopefully people will join us and come on. I can't look at it myself, can I?
You might be able to see it on the Facebook side.
Okay, but I won't be able to see it on YouTube.
You'll probably be able to see it on YouTube.
No, I don't see it on here. Nope. I've got all the usual advertising and the shorts and the...
I'll check on my computer. I know you're live, though.
I'm live. She knows I'm live. So somebody please let me know if you can see us, if anybody's there. Anybody out there, please let me know. Let me try YouTube. Dr. Melanie, equine nutritionist. There's nothing coming up there. Nope, don't see anything on YouTube.
Okay, I'll check.
No, I don't see it.
All right.
No, I have no live coming up. Turn on incognito, share channel, view channel. Oh, look, there we are. How about that? We are. I found it when it said view channel, it came up. And there we are. We're not doing much of anything. I'm looking at my phone. Yeah, well, that's probably.
Did you check Facebook?
Let me go back to Facebook.
I'm just happy I'm paying attention.
Oh, good.
Photo. Well, I'm listening to what I'm doing.
No, I've not got anything on. Nothing on Facebook.
Should be on your personal.
My personal.
Should be.
Friends group, save marketplace. Feeds. No. Home, friends, gaming. Create story. What's on your mind?
I was thinking you might not be able to see it if you're the one going live.
Yeah,
You want me to look at?
Yeah.
Look at it and see if we're on Facebook. Got us on on YouTube.
Go away, stink bug.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, Philip has us on. Philip can find it.
Right.
YouTube.
Go away, stink bug.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, there it is.
Philip has us on. Philip can find it. YouTube. So there we are, people. We're live. Isn't it interesting?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Philip has us on. Philip can find it. YouTube. It's just doing a looping. People, we're live. Isn't it interesting? It's a slight lag. It's interesting.
That's hilarious.
It's just doing that send her a question. Hi, can you read this?
For her?
Yeah. Well, to just send it in, see if she gets it. Can you read this? The audio's a little funky. Yeah. Well, to just send it in, see if she gets it. You got it? All right. So everybody, we're live. Please send us questions. Apparently you can type them into the comments and Dee Dee can see them and she can relay them to me and I'll answer them. So, or there may be questions about training and handling for Philip or questions about nutrition and management for me. I hope somebody's watching this that is going to send us a question. Dee Dee's laughing at me. You know, that's what happens when you do this, you know, flagrant self-promotion. What can I say? Yeah, so anyway, you were saying, so yeah, you're going to have to learn to ride that big warm blood trot.
Yes, especially with
and
him.
I have a great sympathy because I having sat one the other day, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be fun. I am going to go out to Cody's and get lessons on him.
Okay.
I did Cody a deal. He was in Bristol, Virginia. So I drove all the way to Bristol, Virginia, picked him up and brought him back to Cedar Creek. So she only had to come to Cedar Creek to pick him up and take him home. Because it's an 8-hour trip for Cody, but it's a 6-hour trip for me. I mean, because I'm an hour closer. So I said, well, the price of this is I get several lessons on this horse. She's like, done.
How about the stallion?
Which one?
The one out, the one you just purchased
in Florida.
Yeah,
he's getting there. He had some issues. Part of his issues are he's a brother to Colorwin, and so he's the same very sensitive character that Colorwin is.
Yeah,
and he had been to a trainer and been, quote, had some work done, and Megan said he basically was terrified. He reacted badly because he was expecting her to be rough. So she's had to take her time and be gentler with him and teach him to be confident in what he's doing. And she says she's finally got him to let her get on and mount and ride and not be. She said he's still a little worried about things, but he is much more understanding and accepting of what's happening than he was. But I think the lady who I bought him from had him with a trainer who was maybe a little rough, you know, a little tough for him. And the sensitive horses, they don't do well if they're bullied. You know, they get very nervous and very worried and very reactive. And you remember how Colorwin used to get.
Oh, yeah. And exactly. And they're just going to go one or two ways in that regard. They're either going to take hold and push or get behind the pressure,
right, and then buck you off because they can't take the collection. So anyway, I think all is well. Again, he's one we've had to put on the esomeprazole because I think he was getting girthy, so I think he was ulcery and probably from his anxiety. But other than that, he's good. And then the other stallion, Quinny, is doing fantastic, although we're having an interesting time with the color analysis. I don't know how much you do with color analysis. So, you know, this is a color breed, Knabstroppers. I'm talking about the breeding of Knabstroppers. And the stallion, the color analysis I got for the stallion, now the stallion's chestnut, big white blanket, 4 white socks and a white blaze, lot of white. The color analysis that I got from the lady I bought him from shows no white whatsoever. Not one gene codes white. I'm like, why is this white coming from? Have I got the right analysis of the right horse? So I wrote to Cal Davis and they said, well, they would recheck the hair, the sample they had, but they suggested another analysis that they do for paint horses, which has some more of the dominant white genes that are not common in other breeds. And sure enough, he's got 2 of those.
Really?
Yeah, W25 and W23, which are not normally found outside of paint horses. Now I happen to know he's a purebred Knabstrucker, so
it doesn't change
it
anything.
doesn't change anything. But what it does tell me is, you can get white without the standard tests. All the standard tests showed no white, but there were some non-standard tests that showed there were 2 white genes. And boy, there's plenty of white on this horse. So
Well, I found interesting is the people that come through the barn that, to see that breed. And if they're tied to the wall, they all walk by and they look, and they all point at the raised brown.
Yes,
the
the
winter
brown
coat?
hairs stand up.
Stand up, yeah.
Like a chenille. Yes. Yes, that is interesting. Well, there's a difference in texture between hairs that are colored white and hairs that are colored brown. And the hairs that are brown are a little bit stiffer, so they stand up a bit higher than the hairs that are white. White hairs lie flatter. And, I don't know whether that happens in other species, but in horses, definitely. The brown spots are a little bit stiffer and stand proud. Any signs of any questions?
No.
No. Okay.
We have a stallion that may be coming. Well, I'm going to have to decide on whether or not, from the first time it came to now, whether or not to, to accept it.
Right. Well, you're not really set up for a stallion, are you?
Well, I am. I mean, unless they're, just extremely overly aggressive.
Right.
I have the gelding field, and the only problem is I have a couple of really young geldings that are really mature, and this horse is pretty aggressive.
Okay.
So there's plenty of horses in there to help him, but I don't need the other. It would probably be okay, but
right, someone get hurt.
Yeah, and you really need to commit to understanding how to handle a horse like that at home.
Right.
When you spend some time coming out, just spend some time coming out so that it's not in vain, when you get home, and then
right,
because they're masters at the little nuances of reading you. We will never be as good as reading them as they read us, right?
Oh no, they spend all day looking at us, waiting to see when we're going to produce food. Are you going to make me work?
Yeah,
make me do. Very important to them.
So if the owners could invest a little time,
right,
to handle that.
And it's interesting. There are some people handle stallions really well, and some don't. I'm in the latter group. I don't handle stallions well, but people like Megan, she's assertive and firm, but she's unaggressive.
Right.
So it's like no, and then she backs off, so that they get told what they cannot do, but she doesn't get at them. She doesn't get ugly with them. She just says no. And she's very good with stallions, which is why she's got my 2, because personally I don't handle stallions. I don't like them. Any signs of life out there in the universe, Dee Dee?
It'll take a while.
Take a while
to get back up to 40,000 followers.
Oh well, yeah. You notice it's got 39.9, and there's 350 waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah. TikTok.
But people do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing too, like the condensed version of that. Because you don't want the horse to have to continue to go through the same thing. It's like when somebody hands you a horse at a clinic, or you're just getting it off the trailer, trying to get it into the barn for the first time, and you're or like I said, somebody hands you one in the clinic, and it's you have to do something to get this horse somewhat in control. And so you're looking for a specific little thing, in the horse when they make that little turn, that little change, and then you can get out.
Right.
And then move the horse on along, and then you can work on that at another time. But you have to kind of hang in there, and you have to kind of firm up on, the horse, and you're doing things very calculated, but it might not look calculated. You know what I mean? To the average,
like you're just standing there.
It just looks like you're being firm, and they may not know. It just looks maybe aggressive to them when you have to block and create movement and redirect. And so if they're not familiar with that, it just looks like, a lot of energy going out towards the horse, when actually, even if it is a lot of energy and a lot of motion, it's still very calculated to where the feet are. And you're just looking for that one moment where you can go, thank goodness. All right, get it out here so we can go on and do what we need to do.
Right.
And probably the biggest disappointment, or the hardest thing for me, is when, they either don't bring the horse back, or that horse doesn't get that second session, where that second session, because you found that one little spot to start from
Right, you
again.
have something to build on. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that next session, by the end of the next session, it's just as harmonious, respectful, stress-free atmosphere for this horse. And, it's an entirely different dialogue and interaction that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the response you might not get that opportunity for that, because somebody says, well, there must be another way, or I didn't like how that went.
Right.
And so it's sad to me, because then the horse, all he went through on that first session was
for nothing.
For nothing.
Right. He didn't get understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the hardest thing. But it used to be more like how I felt about that affecting me. And then I kind of grew up a little bit and realized it's more about how the horse just had to go through that.
Right. And they have no, they can only take what's given to them and handed to them, and they do the best they can. And sometimes they respond well and sometimes they don't, but they have no choice, but they have no communication to the person to say, I didn't learn that method. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. And the sad thing about it is when you're handed that horse, and that person makes that assessment, and it's like, well, is there some way else or whatever? They're the ones that put the brace in the horse. Right. Another human, whether it was them or somebody else, is the one that created it.
Right.
For the same lack of understanding that they didn't see or understand, the first session. Mm-hmm. Because the horse doesn't know what a contest is until we teach him.
Right. Oh yeah.
So you grab him under his neck and he spooks and he drops his shoulder, knocks you out of the way. And, pretty soon, it doesn't take long that, what you've created, you've taught this horse to just have no regard for people at all on the ground.
Right.
And he needs to learn,
to be careful of the human.
Right. And then the thing on top of that is, does he have the education to not run into you or run over you? Mm-hmm. So if you're on the ground, we're supposed to just talk, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
you'll tell him if anybody.
If they're on the ground, mm-hmm. I was watching, because I'm always trying to figure out new ways to say the same thing so that it's understood. And you've helped me a lot with that, and so, I was watching, a horse in a situation where it spooked, mm-hmm. and it literally had the ability, because we were technically riding it on the ground. That's what in-hand halter work is on a lead rope. You're teaching it how to balance. That lead rope's your rein. Essentially, everything you're doing there is going to, go right into how you're going to ride the horse. So this horse had the ability when it spooked to hit the rein and roll around and keep its shoulder up and go around you. Well, if he didn't have that ability, he's not going to have it under saddle either, right? If he spooked and you pick up a rein,
right?
So if he picks up anyway, you can't expect him not to run you over if he doesn't have that ability to feel the contact on the lead rope or the rein and keep his shoulder up and go up forward and through. Right. So all we're teaching them is to go forward and through. So if they do get in trouble, they go forward and through. So you're teaching them how to operate like that before you even, get in the saddle. And then they're being taught from day one that there's no element of containment.
Right.
There's always a freedom of movement to move out.
Right. Yeah, interesting. So we still nobody?
A couple people.
Oh, really? Oh, well. Hey, if anyone's watching, please send us in a comment. Let us know you're watching. We know where you're watching from would be great. And we look forward to hearing from you. Dee Dee's typing away on her computer. She's obviously doing other jobs while not listening. Multitasking, which, as we have discussed, some people do better.
I'm looking at microphones.
Oh. But
it sounds pretty good.
You think it sounds good?
Considering that you're in a wooden room.
Oh, it's wood different from plaster?
No, usually if you go to a studio, mm-hmm. the walls will basically be covered with carpet, essentially.
Oh, okay, sound muffling. Exactly. Right,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Wood bounces. Right? The sound bounces off the wood. It doesn't bounce off the carpet. Got it.
And the fact that we have also an echo chamber down here, but honestly.
Yeah, not too bad, huh?
Not at all.
So the microphone. So yeah, let us know how we're doing, please, people out there in internet land. We would love a comment. We can't see the comments on YouTube, right?
We can.
We can? Okay.
Mhm.
Just interested. Someone just pulled up in a car. I wonder who that might be.
Is that what that gravel light?
Yeah,
was?
that
Okay.
was like somebody driving up the drive and they stopped and I heard the car door open and close. Well, if they bang on the front door, someone will go down
It's
and
probably. Well, no, she would have driven.
she would have driven past and around. Yeah.
So, since we're just hanging out, do you want to set up where we just do the one mic, make it really simple, or
Sure.
do you want to set up where you guys can actually sit separately and have 3 different mics with a receiver?
I mean, how does it? I mean, this is fine to me.
I like this.
I do too.
Unless there's a good technical reason for separating.
That's what I meant. Yeah, unless it's a sound issue or
Right.
because what ends up happening is we engage more on the topic than we do our microphone.
Right.
You know. It's,
Right. No. So what do you think? You're the technical.
You can add them in later.
Yeah. So stick with one for now. But we would love some feedback from a viewer if we have a viewer. Let us know who you are and where you are and send us a question about horse nutrition or horse behavior and management. So yeah, I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube, and these people sit and they always have these honking great microphones. I mean, just,
oh yeah, they're big.
And they're right close to their faces too.
Well,
that's for muting.
Muting.
Yeah. So when you have those kind of microphones, like it's picking me up right now.
Okay.
So the problem is he just coughed. It's going to pick up his cough.
Ah.
So if you have it right in front of your face and then you turn the settings down, like on the receiver, super low, it's only going to pick up the person that's right here.
Ah.
And so there's still like post production editing that needs to be done so that you mute the other mics. But it's much easier if
it's low volume.
Their mics aren't picking you up.
Okay.
It's just picking the person up.
So it was more of a technical thing.
What a technical thing, yeah.
We learn things all the time. Don't we?
Absolutely. Every time. Yeah, I learn something new. Yeah.
That's why I'm always telling you guys when you use the little lapel mics, which is what we have to do because I don't have 2 mics like that because we're going to get mics. But for TikTok, we can't, they don't have an API. Okay, let me backtrack. So TikTok does not have an API that works really well. I'm using a program called Restream right now, and that's allowing me to stream to Facebook and YouTube. But you could also link it to Twitch, to Instagram, like anything that goes live that you could possibly think of, except for TikTok. And so the reason we have like 2 cameras and I have to have 2 mics is because TikTok has to have its own setup. And because I don't have 2 microphones like that, we use the lav mics. And these mics are noise reducing, right? Obviously, that's the whole point of them. And so it really only works well if you hold it up. And of course, the problem with that is you guys always forget to pass it along.
Yeah, we talk and we don't pass it, right?
But I like the situation where I think we need 2 mics anyway if we decide to continue using TikTok.
Which we might not.
I mean, I would love to because that's where your audience is.
Right.
Like the audience that engages is.
Yeah.
It's more of whether it's going to be banned. Or,
who knows what's going to happen with it, right? The future is uncertain. Eat dessert first.
But I'm actually surprised at how well, because that is not an expensive mic at all. I just like it all. It was like, I think like under $200. And obviously I don't have one of those, what do you call?
Booms.
Oh yeah. We used to have them when we did music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can put one on there. I just don't have it. You know, it's
4 of us will get around. You can sing, and she can explain it better than I can.
It's all reflected into them.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
Don't really ask me. I just know.
I saw it. It was there. You used it, right? You don't know how the thing functions.
Right.
Kind of like me with a car. I press a button, it runs. Right. I don't know how it's getting there, but it's doing the job. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some audience. We couldn't do TikTok tonight. We're having a TikTok issue, so.
I got your account all set up though.
Oh, good.
And we're actually using the same account, the Google, or no, we're using the your Facebook account.
Right.
So that's fine. And you're all set up.
Okay.
Now you just have to, I forgot, they make you get, hey, there's someone on. Howdy, Kathy. Kathy's on. Hi, Kathy.
Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Send us a question. Let us know where where you're watching from.
Oh yeah, your account set up, you just have to have like 1,000 followers or something.
Okay.
And then you'll only have 1,000. I mean, it'll be slow going.
We'll build back up slowly.
People have to do it all the time when their accounts get banned. Like a lot of those podcasters.
Oh yeah.
They'll say one thing and then.
Oh yeah, and then the algorithm will not like it.
They have to start all over again.
They can cuss and yeah.
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 So there's similarities between, like, say, Katie and Martha. Two horses for the
right.
This is Cy Lindy's mom in Alabama.
Oh, Celinda's mom, Kathy Coviello. Kathy, hi. She bought Celinda from me in, was it 2014, Kathy? I can't remember when you bought the mare. Anyway, she has a Knobstrupper mare. She's the owner of a real horse. Many years ago. Well, good to see you, Kathy. Well, Winner can't see you, but thank you for joining. Tell all your friends. Yeah.
Knobstrupper, right?
Knobstrupper, yeah.
Strupper.
Strupper.
I will get this within the next 3 years. I promise.
Eventually, it doesn't really matter. Aaron Sweeney always calls them gobstoppers.
Well, I call them
gobstoppers.
Yeah.
I call them knob swimmers because they're always in my water trough.
Yes, that they are.
I just got to get the first part right. So it'd be nab swimmers. Okay.
Nab swimmers.
Yeah.
We sometimes call them mud struppers because they get out like Sugar likes to get out without it.
2013.
2013, almost right. All right.
I didn't remember
great.
something like that. I mean, I can't hardly remember my name, much less something 10 years ago.
I don't remember much, but it just happened fortuitously to be close. But yeah, they live in Alabama. She was up here in Virginia, and then she moved to Alabama. You work for the Army or one of the branches of the military anyway. Maybe in the space program. Who knows? Huntsville. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just like you covering up or answering the feedback from the nutrition topic when we first started. I'm like, okay, so you didn't have to write that down to bring it in here to remember your research. I mean,
no,
the fortunate, yeah.
Some stuff I have to remember, and sometimes it's blank, and I'm like, okay, I should remember this. No, I don't. Jeez, I just have to. Sometimes you have to work it out again, But yeah, no, I remember that about the omega-6 and 3 fatty acids, because it's been an ongoing session. They've been nagging at me about I had said that the oil seeds and the flax were very similar nutritionally. Well, they are in terms of percentage of fat in the seed. They're both about 40% fat, about 30% protein. So they are nutritionally the equivalent. However, of the fat that's in the seed, more is omega-6 in the oil seeds and less is omega-6 in the flax. And people, but you're not feeding that much. It's not enough going in to make that much of a difference. But, some people do care.
Well, and yeah, I mean, I've had many discussions with Western medicine physicians on that. And so you can't take this because of this, it's going to affect that. And I'm like, to what degree? Well, they don't know that.
Right.
Well,
they don't know how much it's going to affect.
Well, if I've got, 3 years left, I don't think it's a big concern that I just went slightly over that amount. Anyway, but whatever.
Well, like the other day, Melinda was making some cookies, delicious cookies, I have to tell you. And she
cooks a lot, doesn't she?
She does. She's a
good cook.
She's a good cook. And I was, she said, these cookies, the recipe told her that the cookies had 260 calories per cookie. And she thought that couldn't be. And I said, well, it depends on how much butter there is in those cookies. And she's like, what? I said, here's the thing. Fat is 235 calories per ounce. Sugar, carbohydrate, is 4 calories per ounce. So you don't take much fat to whack the calorie content very high. So if you have a 1 ounce cookie and it's, 50% fat, that's 120 calories just in that much cookie. Well, the cookies were heavier than 1 ounce. They were almost 2 ounces. So they're 50% fat, 50% sugar with some nuts in it. The nuts are high fat. I said, there's your 240 calories.
Wow.
Just in that much fat, which is always a little scary for us. We forget this, that fats have so much higher a calorie content than carbohydrates do. Which is why if you want to put weight on a horse, if a horse is skinny and they're having trouble getting weight, go for fat feeds, high fat feeds, because for every ounce you feed, the calorie input is that much higher. However, you do have to make sure that, it's palatable, because one of the big problems and one of the great benefits of fats, the fat is where the flavor is. And it can carry good flavors and bad flavors. So if it's good flavors, they'll eat it well. But if, for example, a fat goes rancid, it gets oxidized, it's nasty.
Well, and I imagine that, there's also the whole take that, 240 calories of a healthy cookie versus a non-healthy cookie. I mean, I'd be more concerned about that.
Well, it's a proportional thing.
Kathy's asking a question.
Okay, Kathy.
Can you explain the balance needed between omega-6 and 3s?
Can I explain the balance needed between omega-6 and 3s? Basically, in a nutshell, you want as little omega-6 as you can get away with, and you want as much omega-3 as you can get away with. They should never really be, you should never have more 6 than 3. And even an equal amount is questionable. Should be more 3 than 6. And that's because metabolically, omega-6s are processed and can form prostaglandins, and prostaglandins are inflammatory cytokines. Omega-3s are involved in cell wall function and cellular construction, and so they're not pro-inflammatory. But depending how much you're feeding, what you're feeding overall, the thing to remember is that spring grass, or grass all throughout the year that it's growing, is always way higher in omega-3s than it is in omega-6s. So if you're ever in doubt, go with grass. Now, the only problem we have is when grass gets cut to make hay, the omega-3 fatty acid level drops significantly. I mean, it really does. So on horses that don't get grass, that eat hay, it can become an issue. You may have to feed fish oil, or that'd be about the only thing that will put the DHA back up. But the best thing you can give a horse that's for omega-3s is green grass. That's your best source of omega-3s. So they need to get out and graze. Remember the 3 F's of horse happiness: friends, forage, and freedom. Forage is very important.
Yes.
Yeah. And people say, what makes my horses happy? Friends, forage, and freedom. Turn them out with buddies.
That's right.
Let them eat grass. Let them eat grass. Oh, well. So, Kathy, thank you for the question. Good job.
It helps with the buddies, too.
Oh, buddies help. Yeah. But horses are social animals. I mean, when you think about it, they don't survive very long on their own when they're out in the wild. They survive by being in a group. And so they're very wired. They're hardwired to be a social animal, right, and to have, a pecking order and someone on patrol and others resting. Just like humans. Humans are a social animal. A lone human does not survive very long in the wild, and even in modern day society, because if you're on your own all the time, other issues become a problem. You might eat okay and you might not be attacked by a tiger, but mental health deteriorates when people are on their own. So the thing to remember is that, like horses, humans are social animals. We're so hardwired for social bonding that we will bond with non-humans, pets, horses, cattle, whatever, because we are so wired to wanting a social interaction.
Right. And learning how to exist in that social interaction without somebody not looking at you kind of funny.
Right.
So you learn the abilities like, why did you do that?
Right.
And it's the same way with horses. We've got a little young horse that came in and, just pushes it was just all over the place. And the owner thought it had a really good relationship with it. And it was pretty much the horse's relationship. The horse just thought that humans were something that they moved out of the way to get on to the next task.
Right, give them food when they wanted it.
Yeah, and I mean a really nice horse and a really nice owner. I mean, really, really good people, good horse, but just missed that little piece right there. And it was just amazing that we've done maybe 1 or 2 sessions, but for the most part, it's been out in the herd for just 3 or 4 or 5 days with a lot of other geldings.
Right.
One of them being
who.
Pogo. And so
barge into Pogo. Pogo's like, I don't think so.
So I walked out today and, he used to just blunder right up into you and through you or whatever, not aggressive. He just didn't know. He just thought that was how he socially should act because that's what he'd been taught.
Right.
And the herd, just in a few days, he wasn't perfect. He didn't move away when I asked, but he came running up. But he did stop before he got to me, and I thought, "Wow, I mean, that's a fifth of the training right there."
Right.
I mean, I can't. It'd be really hard to do the work without the horse being out in a herd.
Oh yeah,
because we're just learning how to communicate the way they do. They're not trying to communicate the way we do. We're trying to learn how to communicate the way they do.
Right.
But if they don't know how to communicate, then we're just really behind the 8 ball.
Right. Then you've got a real problem. But I remember driving training. They would always harness the young horse with an older horse because the older horse taught the young horse what was required and what was expected and how to do it. And, with the lady I used to work for who did driving had one old mare. And, she said she's a cranky old bitch. But by golly, these young horses learn how to toe the line and do as they're told. So all I have to do is sit up and say, Goose, straighten him out. Big old grey Irish mare called Goose, and Goose would just bite him if they didn't do as they toe the line. She'd the horse beside her. So get in line, you. Yeah. Other horses teach other horses, and that's why it's one of the reasons why you have problems when you have orphan foals. They're not raised by a horse. They don't learn horse behavior. If you ever have an orphan foal, you need to find it a companion, ideally an adult mare. But not all mares will accept orphan foals. Be careful with that one. But, a donkey or a pony or something that maybe can't physically hurt it, but can teach it how to be a horse. Because if you try to raise them alone, all kinds of problems because they never learn social interaction and behavior. Anybody else? No? Just our lone Kathy?
There's a couple of people on.
Couple of people on. Probably playing in the background while they're cooking dinner.
Cooking some of those cookies you just talked
about. Cookies. And then the house smells of cookies, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I say, she says, well, you can have some if you want. I'm like, 250 calories a cookie. I'll have one.
Are they gone?
No, they're in the freezer.
Oh.
Some are gone. She took some with her to have 8 hours of. I mean, this is a chick who does 5 hours of cross-country skiing. She can afford to burn a few calories. I've spent 5 hours lying on my sofa.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have one of them right here with that.
Yeah, with that beer. Would be good, wouldn't it?
It'd be really good.
I do know someone has some coffee ice cream in my freezer. When all this is over, I think we should go downstairs and just kind of
binge a little bit.
Okay. Are we allowed some coffee ice cream, Didi?
Yeah, we can call it a day. You want to call it a day?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. Those of you who's listened. Hopefully we can do this again in the future. We hope you'll send us in questions. Let me know if you need to question answered. It doesn't have to be during the live. It could be put on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel before the session so that I can maybe look up the answers and then having to, just wing it. But yeah, thank you, everybody. We had fun. I hope you had fun. And see you next time. Are we off?